Whoa, that was loud. It's like a loud ass. Anyways. White noise. Episode 2. What?
Before you start. What's the weather like right now?
Oh, I don't know, Ben. Check. I'm running an episode right now.
Can I get in it or no?
I mean, if you want, yeah. I mean, it was just gonna be like me and Levi type of thing.
Alright. There we go.
Alright, you got his foot in there. Cool.
My foot in there.
We are here with
Levi?
it's okay, we're here with Levi. Describe yourself. Come on.
I'm white.
Okay, don't describe yourself that way. Come on, like.
Kind of there most of the time. Kind of a little.
He exists. There you go. He exists.
Yeah, it's kind of a little sister, but.
I want to start. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Okay.
Right.
We're going to talk about politics, religion, most controversial topics ever. We're going to get opinions on what you think God is and whatnot, because, you know, Levi happens to be an atheist. So,
Yeah.
I discuss with him here and there if I get the chance to see him. Hopefully I get the chance to see him more junior year. Because I only got lunch with him, and I hardly got to sit with him. I want the first topic to be, what do you think of Donald Trump's conviction?
I'm not too familiar with the topic. Like, what did he get convicted of?
I think it was like sexual assault.
It's all the bad shit you can do.
I don't.
You got convicted with
He was a
34
felon, I
felonies.
guess. I really don't know.
You got convicted with 34 felonies.
Yeah.
He's a felon, and yeah, that's not good.
He has 88, but they accuse him of 34 so far.
He could still run for president.
Yeah, and he's still
Which
has
is
the
good.
nuclear code.
For president, I'm pretty sure.
Because I want him to run. If Trump does not win, my life is kind of screwed. I mean, I don't know where to go. I'll still be stuck in this house. I probably won't even get my license or like a job or anything, because, you know, my mom's like this huge liberal, and my mom thinks he's a dictator, and, you know.
But wait, what does that have to do with getting a driver's license?
Because, like, my mom's going to move out of the country, supposedly, and she doesn't want Trump being, like, this huge dictator, him having the throne, you know, like.
I mean, there's a difference between being an asshole and being a dictator. You know?
I mean, I think Trump is cool. I mean, I think he's right for the job. The guy that we have even right now, Joe Biden, he's fucking sitting there stuttering every single little sentence. And
Yeah.
you don't need a person that's sitting there with, I don't know, 300 million plus Americans. Like, you're on live television and you're, you know, stuttering when Trump can do it easily. And he's just like, he's saying everything he wants, you know?
Yeah, I'd say we need younger presidents, honestly.
Oh, yeah, like John F. Kennedy, right?
Yeah, like,
Very young.
yeah, that connect with the demographic. I mean, you know, it's a country made of a lot more young people than old people, so have a bunch of people who are, you know, insane with the people, you know? You need average people in the country. That's what you need.
So you're saying John F. Kennedy's average?
No, not like that. I mean, like, average as in, it's not like a, you know, 87-year-old dementia, you know, guy with dementia, you know?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not-
Yeah, there you go. Was he Democrat or Republican, John F. Kennedy?
I can't remember. I think Republican.
I feel like he was... I don't know.
I honestly don't
He
know.
looks more of like the Republican side. I may be wrong.
I may be wrong.
I think they're trying to make Trump look like shit. Like they're trying to shove him in jail, and if that doesn't work, they're probably gonna kill him. I mean, like, watch me be right on this. They're gonna look back at this and be like, oh shit, I was right. They're gonna try to kill this guy. I mean, I don't know. What are you Democratic or Republican?
Neither.
Independent?
Yeah, like, I don't believe in both sides, really. Like, more so I believe in a mix of both, you know?
So you're more of like independent. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I understand, I enjoy both claims and, like, ideas. It's just both do have their ups and downs, you know?
I do want to get onto the situation with Cameron. If you're not really that familiar with basketball, but Cameron is getting like 0 playing time. And when he does get on the court, he plays phenomenal. I mean, he misses a bit here and there, but he hardly misses. And you know, he's one of the best players like on that court.
That's nice.
But the problem is he's not getting any playing time. You know, and Coach Hill's sitting there like looking at the team like it's fucking what's going on here. Like,
yeah, playing 9 people, bro. That's what's going on.
His problem is he's running the same plays over and over again, and then the other team catches on.
Well, yeah, definitely. You can't run the same plays, yeah.
And like the fact that he still has the job, all the people know that he's just this horrible coach, and he knows himself. I mean, a couple hours ago he was on the phone with Ethan, yapping about what just went down because they lost by 20, and I mean they were winning at the start. They always win at the start, but then they start losing, and then who's here? Oh, it's Cam. What's up? Huh?
You do the podcast?
Yeah, you wanna?
Right now?
Yeah, is that fine?
What? Let me show you the
Yeah, it's just an overall, like, it's not a horrible team. They have amazing players. It's just the coaching staff's the problem. And,
Fuck this dog.
oh my god, this dog, bro. Ruining the podcast episode. It's all a mindfuck. That's all it is. And you can't do anything about it because, Coach Hill's like the boss. It's hard to watch. That's my opinion on it. It's just hard to watch.
I just ran into something. I ran into a camper and I can't see him.
So, here's my question to you: is like, should Cameron quit because of what's going on, or should he just stay and just like hope for the best?
I mean, his relationship, is he able to improve his relationship, or does it seem hopeless? If so, then fucking leave.
Because, like, Coach Hill treats him like he's his best friend, and then next thing you know, he's not getting any playing time.
Maybe he's under the impression he doesn't want to play.
Or maybe
Could that be
it's...
possible?
I mean, maybe Coach Hill sees him as this bad player or something, but there's no way. Because every time you see him on the court, he looks like Michael Jordan out there. I probably shouldn't be comparing him to Michael Jordan, but like he's a good player. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to like throw this on him, but I feel like he should just maybe find a rec center team maybe, and just roll with the flow with that. Just if that coach does not get off that team, you might as well just go. You're ruining your entire high school career.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of schools, coaches, or teams and shit like that.
What is your experience?
My experience? I mean, not much. It's more so what people talk about. How they're just dickheads. I did okay during cross country, 8th grade, but like, still sucked. Like, there wasn't exactly much fun.
So all you were doing was just like running and stuff, and you weren't.
Yeah, which like I'm also just not a big sports person. Like, I mean, I like to work out. I like to go outside and do shit like that. But like, I don't like playing on teams.
Oh, because then it comes to like a selfish type of thing.
Yeah, well, it's in the sense of like, it's just, I don't want to have to deal with all this fucking drama with people. I don't want to have to fuck up and, ruin everything for team, shit like that. You know what I mean?
You could possibly ruin friendships, maybe.
Yeah, ruin friendships, ruin the vibe, say I make a bad play or something like that. I ruin it for everybody, and then, there's, again, drama and shit like that, and I want to deal with that.
And then it goes on to you, yeah.
I don't really know the people at my school very well, especially the athletic kids. For all I know, they could not exactly enjoy hanging around me, so, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm not familiar with that group of people, so I'm not going to, interact with that group of people. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm saying the athletic kids are dicks or anything. I just don't know them. And I'm worried, I don't want to get too out there, you know what I mean? Because it's not really have a lot of different groups to be a part of. I've always heard that. Stick with who you want to be with. Plus, again, like, I'm just not a big fan of sports. I don't like doing them. It's just, I'm more of a solo type of guy. I just kind of like to do it on my own.
Are you more of like watching the sports than playing the sports?
Not even watching them. I just don't enjoy sports. There's one sport I enjoy, and that's you probably haven't heard of it. It's called the Hurt. It's like medieval style fighting almost. Basically, just beat the shit out of people in armor. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, is it like the little swords or whatever, and they try to tap each other with it? Is that what it is?
Pretty interesting, yeah. That's the only sport I like, personally.
Are you willing to do it?
Yeah, I was, but my dad didn't let me. We went to a hurt match, and he's like, "Nah, you're not fucking doing this, bro. It's too dangerous." I'm like, "Bro, like, you didn't let me do it."
If I was your dad, I'd be like, "Shit, go for it."
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm trying to get into like boxing, but I don't even know if I can.
Dude, I've been trying to get into boxing too. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I got sparring gloves in here. I've been punching the air. Because I don't got a punching bag. Got to start somewhere, right? My personal experience too. Like, I've been trying to get on the basketball team like 2 or 3 times maybe, and it hasn't clicked for Coach Hill.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I cut off my hair for this. I did a lot of sacrifice, and I didn't end up getting on. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go straight to weightlifting because I'm skinny, and
yeah.
Might as well just put on some muscle while I'm there.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't like the coaching program there too. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just from a outside viewer standpoint, but it looks like to me it's not exactly the best. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am. I don't know. It's not suited. I don't think it's suited for like what you're doing. Hypertrophy looks, more so like horse training, which is what it is, of course.
Yeah.
I want to do like hypertrophy type shit. You know what I mean? Just kind of get a bigger frame. That's what I want to do. I don't want to, train for any sports. I'm just not a big sports person. They're not enjoyable to me. I'm interested in it.
Mm-hmm. Are you more of like train to be healthy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's not really a problem with that. I mean, some people find that, oh, what's the point? I train for strength.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was talking with my friends, and like I was telling him, like, I like to work out. It's an enjoyable pastime. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so weird, bro." I'm like, "Bro, what do you mean?" And he's like, "You don't need it. You can just use a knife or use a gun." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm not training to fight people. That's not what it's for. It's to be healthy." And he's like, "Nah, it's not healthy. It's okay. It's whatever. You can be skinny all you want." I'm like, "Yeah, sure you can be skinny. It's just I want to be able to be attractive." He's like, "Nah, it's not attractive." I'm like, "Bro, people typically find that attractive,
So are you in like the black pill belief of like, oh yeah, just do it because it just gets you more women? And
I mean, I want to be able to build up confidence. I want to be able to, I've dealt with. I want to be able to get a bit more confident in myself. It gives you a sense of accomplishment. It's pretty good to build up.
Like, you sit there and you look in the mirror with like a little bit of pride, but you don't want to have too much pride because then it boosts your ego, and then you don't know where your ego takes off.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're like flexing in the mirror, like you're showing off your muscles and shit, and you're like, yes, finally,
It's just fun fun thing to do too. Like I enjoy it. That's another thing. It's not like I hate it, but I feel like I have to do it. I actually enjoy weightlifting. I enjoy working out. It's fun, you know. It's fun.
Me too. Like you're getting like the adrenaline. You're like pushing through. You know.
And I'll just sit there. I'll watch like I don't know. I'll watch like somebody explain some weird ass shit. Like I was watching somebody like debate on like that weird man versus bear question thing. It's pretty interesting. She like dressed up as a bear instead of like fighting. I don't know. It was stupid.
What the hell? What type of shit do you watch on YouTube, dude?
I'm not as lady. She does in the middle of her like videos that have like comedy and shit. I don't know. This is weird. She like I don't know. Started boxing something. It was weird.
Yeah, no, you've dealt with like it was morally depression, right?
Huh?
You've dealt with depression, right?
I cannot hear you, bro. What?
You've dealt with depression, yes.
Yeah.
Like what type of depression? Like just.
I mean, I don't really know. I guess it's not bipolar or anything like that. It's mostly just I mean, I'm pretty sure I was born with it because most. You know, you got people who like get it over time, but you know, my family, like it runs in our family, so it's probably that.
Do you think you're bipolar?
No, I was saying it's not bipolar. It's definitely not.
Because I'm definitely bipolar. Like no, like mood swings every single second of the day. Maybe it's just a hormonal thing. Who knows? I mean. I'll probably figure it out when I'm older. Oh, and I gotta go to Cameron's game tomorrow, and
Man, I gotta like lay out like a shit ton of rocks. So like, my mom's friend, she's like, "Hey, Levi, you wanna work for us tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." She says, "Okay, I got some bags of rocks." Like, okay, you know, I thought it was like those small garden bag rocks, you know, about like 20 pounds each. You know what I mean? 20, like 30, 40. No, it's like 4 massive. I'd say, like, these things are massive, bro. I don't even know. Like, they look like 100, 500 pounds.
yeah, no, I'm okay. You're gonna need like 5 grown men just to like lift that shit.
Picked up like half a trailer worth of rocks, bro.
I want to get onto the topic of Mormons. Have you heard of Mormons?
I'm not too familiar, but yeah, kind of.
I got a Mormon Bible. Let me just say I've been reading it, and it's surprising.
I thought it was like a crazy religion. Like people thought it was crazy or something.
Like, there's a prophet named Joseph Smith.
It's American based, right?
Yeah, it is American. It's
yeah.
really, really American based.
I think that's kind of that we on our continent have our own religion.
I mean, like he's like the first 4 chapters I'm reading about him, like having his vision of seeing the Son of God in the woods.
Is it a form of Christianity or like is it its own thing like Muslim or Islam? Like where it's based off of that like Abrahamic God, but it's kind of enveloped like what is it?
It's a denomination, but people don't say it is.
Oh, okay, I get you.
This thing is like really cool though. It's got a bunch of cool stories in it. It's like a thick book. Like a thick book.
One thing is interesting about it is like it's a religious book, but it's so recent. You know?
Yeah, it's what 200, 300 years old.
Yeah.
Years old, yeah.
That's like crazy to think, because then like instead of like having stories or like fucking I don't know even know how to explain. Like it'd just be interesting. Like it fucking brings up like a gun randomly or some shit. That'd be crazy if it was in a Bible. Motherfucker just pops into it, dude.
Yeah, this Bible was made in 1981, and the stories were 1843.
Yeah.
So it's really recent. Well, like in this time, yeah, it's pretty recent.
If a religious book, like I don't know, it's just interesting. Around like American slaves and shit, Industrial Revolution, all that shit.
I bet it does talk about slaves.
It definitely has.
Oh yeah.
Almost, anyways. I mean, slavery's been around forever.
Probably like the like the average, like stereotypical slavery, like get back to work, boy, or something like that, you know? But no, like if we read in Exodus and Leviticus and the first 5 books of Moses, you see like real slavery.
Yeah. So like, how does this guy, like the guy in the Book of Mormon, this prophet, like, does he come across like a Muhammad? If that makes sense, in the same way that like,
I've heard about Mormons, like Mormonism and all that stuff. I talked to a guy named Taven on a cruise ship, and he told me all about it because he was Mormon himself, and they believe. I think they like denied the Trinity or something. I don't know. It's. I mean, I can look
so
at
like,
it.
they have to follow strict rules too, right? Like similar to Jews.
Yeah, they keep the commandments, which is very interesting. Like I'm reading about all their prophets and stuff, and they keep the commandments. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Do more in the Trinity. Yeah, they don't believe in the concept of the Trinity, which is that's a part of Christianity.
So they just believe in a God?
No, they believe in a God.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do believe in a God, like a God and just some prophets.
I have no idea. It's just too confusing. That's why I've never gotten, like this is cool. I mean, I'll probably never get it because I don't know a Mormon like in Texas. I'll probably find one. I'll probably find some guy, and he'll tell me all about it. But I've only met like Mormons on like cruise ships and stuff, and they've told me all about it. I'm like, what? That's interesting. Yeah, but I heard they believe in like some sort of like you'll become a god or something, like as soon as you get to heaven or something. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Like Buddhism or something like that, right? Don't you become like, I can't remember how it works.
Buddhism's I don't get into Buddhism.
Like you can become like, fuck, I can't remember what it is. Become the Buddha, I think, or some shit like that. Or no, I don't know if it's that. Like
You become super Zen, and you just you reach. I believe that you like reach fulfillment or something. I don't know.
I mean, it's interesting. It's a pretty cool way for like a religious belief to be founded. Some dude just like fucking like sat there for so long and fucking ascended. You know how crazy that'd be? Like it's just some
like if you
didn't
you like sit there for like 40 years or 40 days or something?
I can't remember, but like yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Like what if you're just like outside just walking, and the motherfucker flying this?
Yo! You're just looking up there like, yo, oh my god.
Interesting though.
Yeah, there's I got this book today, and my mom was like, "Oh, what? You've already read like the majority of it. Why do you want this book?" And I was like, "Oh, it has like the Book of Mormon, and it's got all this like Mormonism crap, and I want to read it." She's like, "Well, okay." The book was like $30.
Nice.
But I looked it up, and it was like $80, $90. I was like, "Yes, save some money."
Yeah.
But I looked in the back, and it's got hold on. What was it called? I forgot. The Book of Abraham. And I've already read the Book of Abraham because I've read the Pseudepigrapha, and it's an outstanding book. I want the second volume. Yeah, no, they believe in some of the Pseudepigrapha books. I was like, oh, cool. Interesting. Like, they believe in Jesus, but
they believe. So they don't believe he's part of the Trinity.
They don't believe in the Trinity, though. That's
Yeah. So I guess they just believe like he's a prophet or disciple or whatever.
no, but they believe he's God.
Oh, so they believe he's the God. Oh, okay. I think I get it. Like they think it's just God taking different forms, not like how the Trinity works. They just don't. You know what I mean?
I think it's just Jesus and God. There's no Holy Spirit.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of confusing to me. Like, why do we call it a Trinity if has an omnipotent God? It's still the same being, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
He's still God. I mean,
That's too confusing.
I think it's just that like he takes three forms at once, and that's what the Trinity is. Just a constant three forms. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I feel like it. I mean, I feel like it should just be one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I get that. That's the thing. I think the Trinity, it's a confusing concept because I don't know. I feel like it's interpreted as the idea of three different beings, but it's more so a being with three different forms. Because he's omnipotent. He can be anywhere he can be whatever fuck he wants. You know?
Yeah. And that's the reason why I'm Jewish, because it's one, the Trinity's confusing, and I mean, why should there be three different ways of God when there can just be one?
I mean, he wants to symbolically show that, hey, I'm fucking saving y'all guys.
I mean, I guess, yeah. A lot of Christians are going to be mad at you because you're using...
One thing I've never understood is the idea that, like, the God has to be set in his ways of, like, righteousness and justice. You know what I mean? Like, that's never made sense to me.
Well, that's because... It's because he's all good, you know?
Yeah. But, like, it just feels weird that he's able to have limitations like that. You know what I mean?
Do you think
all good.
Do you want him to be all evil?
No, I'm just saying it's interesting, you know what I mean?
I mean, I guess, but, like, why do you think, like, oh, he has to be, righteous and all that stuff?
Yeah. Which, of course, his definition of righteousness, for all we know, could be completely different from ours,
Yeah, because there's so many translations.
Yeah. Plus, the time period and shit like that. That's one thing that confused me, is the idea that he wanted to separate the Jews from the rest of the world. Like, I guess just, like, to pronounce, like, hey, we motherfuckers are different, you know?
Well, because we're God's chosen people.
Yeah. But it's just interesting. I mean, did he specifically say why? Like, he wanted y'all just because y'all are God's chosen people? Like, what, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know how, like, Jesus in Christianity, he came there, has a way to show people, like, hey, I'm fucking saving y'all guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what did making the Jews different accomplish, if that makes sense?
Could you repeat that?
Like, what about God making the Jews act different than the kingdoms around them? Like, what did that do for Christianity, or Judaism, I guess?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a really good question.
I'd imagine, because, it's a non-prestigious religion, if that makes sense, in the sense that, like, it's for everybody, the commoner. I'd imagine it's a way to attract attention to it and be like, oh, yeah, I love this fucking religion. The idea of God, no matter what. Maybe it's, like, interesting, like, you hear about these guys, the Jews, they're like, yeah, what about them? Look at all this stuff that they do. Like, that's interesting. Oh, fuck, this is kind of chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but yet again, everybody targets us, like the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
And what's going on in Israel.
You know why they target? It's because of the Jesus and the Jews killing Jesus and shit like that.
When we actually didn't kill Jesus, the Romans did.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why Jews are blamed for everything.
Scapegoat.
There you go.
I mean, it's... I want to say it's Christianity's biggest competitor, but, like, it's basically an argument over the idea of God and Jesus being real and shit like that. I mean, if you think about it, it's two people arguing against what is their true reality, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
But we all know what the truth is, I mean, if we really look around. I mean, my truth, sorry.
You understand what your truth is, and everybody has a different truth that is subjective to their own person, so people can get argumentative, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
and that causes conflict. And I'm not saying religion is a major cause. It caused wars, but a majority of wars are not caused by religion, counter like the popular belief. Like a lot of them are. Some of them are justified. A lot of wars can be justified with religion. Similar to like slavery, I'm pretty sure. Or no, I'm pretty sure it was a mix of slavery, like a religion and scientific belief that like justified slavery. Like I can't remember what the science. It's a pseudoscience that they used, where they examined the skull structure of black people, and they were like, "Hey, these skulls are different, so they must be stupider," which they weren't at all. You know what I mean? It's just like that's what it's like they use it as a scapegoat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
it's very easy to put the blame on somebody else and put the blame on.
But why couldn't they go after like Indians, the Japanese, the
like you're talking about during the Holocaust, World War II,
or any other race? Yeah, like because
they did. They definitely did. You know,
they went after black people, Hispanics, things like that. But like
everybody targets everybody.
Why?
You see a motherfucker that's different to you, you scared of them. You know what I mean?
I wanna. Sorry for interrupting you, but like, this is a good topic. But I also thought of something else. It's like, you think God is like this controlling God of like, okay, do this, and if you don't do this, then you're going to hell, and you're going to this sort of punishment. You thought of like, okay, God is like using us like puppets.
Yeah.
And I was talking about this with Ben. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you should probably bring that up back in the podcast." And I'm like, "Okay, now we're doing it." Like I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from. It's just like, why would God do that? I know He has a big ego, biggest ego in the entirety of existence.
I mean, it's just kind of interesting. I mean, what reason would create us out of thin air and give us all these rules and punish us if we don't follow said rules? I mean. It really doesn't have an effect on him. It doesn't have an effect on anything else. I mean, you know what I mean? I guess. Like, it's under the idea that, like, he wants us to follow him. I mean, I get it. Like, you know, as a being, I'd imagine being put in his shoes, which, of course, this is coming from a human mind, not a, you know, infinitely complex mind. But under the idea of, you know, he wanted to create beings that have their own free will, but he also wanted to have beings that enjoyed him and accepted him for said free will. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I guess. I mean...
He wanted to see himself as being loved, which is not a wrong thing. I don't think that's evil per se. You know, it's not evil for that. You know what I mean? And I get the idea that people argue, like, you know, it's not that God is condemning you. You're just simply separating yourself from God. You know?
And that's what you're doing, because, you know, I mean...
I get that.
So you're okay with burning in hell?
Believe in him, so, you know.
You said you were questioning it. You were, like, questioning, like, what religion should you go to?
Yeah. And I believe in him, you know what I mean? It's just, I'll discover it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it's interesting.
I mean, it's what your heart wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
The way you put, like, oh, God's trying to use us as puppets, I disagree, because what we have is the Jewish free will, and the Jewish free will is by going under that Jewish law, and that's what makes us, I don't know, it keeps us in check. That's what makes us, you know, human in God's eyes. And Reform Jews and conservative Jews, those type of groups of Jews, they'll be like, no, he's wrong. Like, the Jewish law doesn't mean anything anymore. You can do whatever you want. No, it's obviously here for a reason. It's to follow. And I had a conversation with one of the people in my family, I'm not going to say, but she was like, oh, well, I'm allowed to be, you know, homosexual and things like that. Like, that's old law. I don't need to do it anymore. And I'm like, wait, you're Jewish, and, you know, you have tattoos, and you're homosexual. Like, this is not Judaism. It's nothing to do with it. You might as well not be Jewish if you you have those things.
Uh-huh.
And she knew when she was getting those tattoos, like, she converted to Judaism with those tattoos. Like, she was going to get tattoos as, she's Jewish.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, this is no way the Jewish community has come to this free will of being like, be who you are, this and this, do what you want. It's old law, do whatever. I think that's horrible. I feel like you being an atheist is way better than the Jewish community right now.
I mean, I'm just not up to that belief. I mean, you can't claim you're a believer of something and don't follow it.
Yeah.
Unless you have a justifiable reason not to follow it, if that makes sense. Like, if you believe that there are certain parts that you don't have to follow anymore, then yeah, I get that. But if you are a claimer of it, but then you're hypocritical of it, then that sucks, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like slavery, it's in the Torah, but you don't have to follow it because that's like it's gone. What else is what else is reasonable? Like you don't have to stone people to death. You don't have to kill someone for sin.
Well, it says follow the law of the land. We can't stone people to death, so that's reasonable.
Yeah. That's probably the only two things left. I mean, you can follow the rest, 500 others. It's just sad it's sad to see that the Jewish community is falling, and also the Christian community is falling. Like it's just falling. All religious groups are falling, except for Islam.
Just the idea that it's archaic views. As we change as a society and we get more and more developed, we will start to lose archaic views of the world. If that makes sense,
Yeah, the
that archaic doesn't necessarily mean wrong. It just means old.
Yeah, it's like the more sin that comes into the world, the harder it's going to be to follow these Old Testament rules, and
Yeah. Which, to be fair, there is still a large population of religious people. You may not see it as much in more developed countries like America or the European countries. They are developing an atheism, but you will see a lot of it in Middle Eastern and what's it called?
Israel, of course, Israel, yeah.
Like Middle Easterns, Africa, you still see like a lot of religious development in those countries. Which, I mean, fair enough, you know what I mean? Religion is a thing for people who are struggling and dealing with problems, you know what I mean? Which they are very problematic there, in Africa. It's a conflict-driven, or not conflict-driven, I'm not going to say that they're all savages, nothing like that. It's just there's a lot of conflict that does happen within those places. And if you're feeling down on yourself, I mean, it does feel good to turn up to this God who is ever loving, have a sense of purpose, have a sense of feeling, and have a sense of love from this being that chose you to be there.
Yeah, and like, you just keep going.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what kept me going. I mean, I've probably already told you this, but I thought about jumping off, but God is what saved me because He gave me a purpose. He gave me something to live for, and that's why I was like, okay, like I'll jump. There you go.
Yeah.
And people probably gonna be watching this and be like, whoa, he was gonna jump. Oh, I don't feel that way anymore. Okay, I'm not gonna do that crap.
Yeah, I don't feel that way anymore either. Like, like I said, I did hang myself, but
that's okay.
Yeah.
I would watch your words here.
It's like my sense of purpose does come a bit different than most others. It's the idea that like in this world of where I don't know the truth, I don't know what's going on, I can basically make a purpose out of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm created in this world. I'm here in this world. I don't know why I'm here in this world, but I'm gonna give myself a fucking purpose.
There you go. Yep.
I'm gonna do it. Even if there's no being to do it for, I'm gonna do it for my fucking self. I'm a being here. And this idea that like humans are these minuscule, tiny pebbles in this world is viewing the world in a very materialistic way. I mean, we have these whole worlds in our mind. We have this whole area. I mean, it's not like sure, we're a pebble, but it's not like the fucking sun is creating stories. It's not like, the empty, vast space of nothingness is making art and music and interacting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sure, we're small, but what we are, like, as people, is amazing. It's awesome. And,
It's life.
Yeah. And in the idea, even if it's in the idea of atheism, we just happen to be here, well, I'm going to take advantage of that fucking luck,
Yeah, you're 1 in 400 million that get to live and get to die.
Yeah, sure, I'm not going to explore the whole fucking cosmos. I'm not going to be this immortal, omnipotent God or anything like that. But I'm going to live my fucking life.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw away what little I have. You know what I mean?
Do you have, like, this idea of, like, YOLO, that type of thing?
I mean, I do believe that, like, I should, have something that I believe will contribute because, it's of human desire to contribute, not just to have, like, fun all the time. You want to actually contribute something, leave a legacy for yourself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what, people want to do. They want to have a sense of worth. They want to be able to contribute to this world and bring a sense of purpose to this world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's like, but when it comes down to people's, like, pride and ego, and it just gets to themselves, and they're like, okay, I'm actually going to go do this, and then they mess up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what I'm seeing around my life. I'm not gonna shout out names or anything, but it's definitely what's going on.
You gotta remember too, with us as kids, I mean, teenagers and shit like that. It's not like any teenagers back then were any better. Trust me. Like, people were shit for the whole fucking world, and that's just how we are. We're children. I mean, we're not fully developed. We don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't born into this world knowing shit. And we're seeing it through the lens of a motherfucker who's being taught by a bunch of people who really don't. I mean, because, with humans and shit, like, and parents, there's no course to tell you how to fucking raise your kid. So you're seeing it in this completely different view from everybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. So that's just the problem, I guess. You can't really blame anybody for being a dickhead or being, egotistical. I mean, it's just how we work.
I mean, me being in a Jewish family, there's, like, a couple years ago in my family, I'm not gonna blur out any names, like I said, but, like, my family they were very humble at the beginning, but when people started dying in the family, everybody was like, you know what, okay, I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna do whatever I want, it's me now. And then I was also kind of like that too because, monkey see, monkey do, whatever the family does, I do.
Yeah. Over here. Yeah. I get that.
And then I realized, like, as soon as I get closer to the God that you don't believe in, I start to lower the ego down. I start getting rid of all these bad things, and I'm here. I'm humble.
Yeah.
But my family's still catching on it. Like, okay, well, I got this thing to keep me happy. I got this thing to keep me. It's sad to look at because society is doing that too. It's like, okay, I got this money. I'm gonna go buy something that's, beneficial to me for like a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe, and then they're gonna keep doing it over and over again. It's kind of like with drugs. Or any other thing. I feel like I'm kind of happy at this point. Like, but you get what I'm saying? Like, there's still pride, there's still ego, and I feel like it's rising, like near the religious people, because like as people get more religious, the people around them are gonna start to get more egotistic, more prideful, and that's what I've experienced. I'm gonna shout out names now. Cameron. And, it's Cameron and my mom. They will...
Your brother, Cameron?
Yeah. Yeah, Cameron is just... He's all about basketball, me. I feel like that's his drugs. That's his drugs, yeah. And if I feel like if you take it off of him, then he's gonna be like, oh, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
he's relying on it, and you can't rely on something that's not, powerful than you are,
Mm-hmm.
because he's relying off of, a basketball, a ball with air.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Ben's gonna go down the same path with this guitar. Is like sooner or later maybe he can just snap. And he's being like,
Yeah.
okay, this is the only thing that's probably going to keep me alive. I should probably just keep playing this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's sad to see that materialistic objects are taking over my family.
Mm-hmm.
Has your family done that? Or
I don't know, not really.
take a look for yourself. Just
Since I guess, I don't really interact with my parents all too much. I guess. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that. I don't know how to explain it. It's not like they're striving for anything. Like, they're not striving on this one thing. They're not really. I'd say they're kind of just living, really. If that makes sense.
You think so?
Like, they're just living.
They're just here?
Yeah. I say that. Like, I know my dad, he wants more money, wants to be able to do things with his family, explore the world, see the world from a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what she wants. But yeah. That's just basically it. Do wrong with that. I do believe that we do need to have things that happen happy, like that's a part of experiencing life. That can be like a goal of yourself, Sure, you can do something beneficial for the world. Sure, you can do this and that, but it doesn't really put you always feeling too satisfied because you feel like you missed out. If that makes sense, you have to have a well-rounded experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that includes happy situations, having happiness. Just time where you can enjoy yourself,
Like, I'm still on that search for happiness. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be happy here and there, but it's just temporary.
Yeah, which that's how it is for everybody. It's just an emotion. Nobody is going to be happy forever because, to be fair, when people say that they strive for happiness, they're really striving for something that's impossible. What you should be striving for is fulfillment. The idea of, hey, I did this shit. I'm able to do something that I can do. I feel great. I feel great that I accomplished something. I feel great I got through this thing. You know what I mean?
Do you think the strive for fulfillment will reach the fulfillment of happiness?
Well, it's in the sense that, like I said, happiness is just an emotion. It's temporary. You're not going to live your life fully happy all the time. That's just not how the world works. Whenever people say that they're a genuinely happy person, I want to say it's happiness. It's a feeling of fulfillment. They're not over here exactly enjoying themselves, I say that, like happiness is a bit of a stronger emotion, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think sadness is stronger than happiness?
They're all equally the same. They're just used for different things,
Yeah. I get what you're coming from.
Yeah. And we have experiences and we have things like that. I'm going to be honest, shit that I've dealt with, it makes me feel, now that I've gone over it, it makes me feel good, that I've gone over it. You know what I mean?
You've gone over that obstacle of depression, yeah.
Yeah. That feels great. I feel fulfilled that I was able to deal with something that a lot of people can't deal with. A lot of people can't manage. At my look, I was able to build myself up and get back up. Something that, again, a lot of people can't do.
Oh my gosh, there's a lizard on my window.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks like yogurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flick off. I'm just retarded. It's not gonna move. If you guys didn't know, Levi has a lizard named Yogurt. And is it still alive?
Yeah, it's still alive.
Okay. Okay.
It's still pretty good, yeah.
How long do those lizards live? Do you know?
10 years out.
10 years?
Yeah, she's gonna be around for a while. She's my little girl.
What do you
It's just
think?
that-
No, what do you think of the Kendrick and Drake beef?
I don't fucking remember. Isn't Drake like a pedophile?
Yeah. Come in.
I've seen a lot of that.
Oh, I'm not done, but you can come in if you want.
No, I'll show you later.
All right.
I've been seeing a lot of goofy ass videos of Drake. Like earlier today, I saw a video, and it's like,
Oh God.
and then they're like, "Hey, who the fuck invited you?" And he's like, "I did." Who am I? You're like, who do you think I am? Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you can't just invite yourself to a party just because. That's dude, man. Silly goose. Like, I don't know. It's interesting.
How do you feel about going into junior year?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not too keen on, like, you know, fucking becoming an adult. It's kind of a scary thing to do. Get into the workforce, all that shit. You know? Have
Do
to
you
deal with this.
okay? Do you think that the Matrix is a thing?
What do you mean?
Like
Like, no.
we're run by a system of like there's people at the top and they're playing us like puppets.
No. I mean, I say that in my idea, you know, I can't say no to anything idea, you know, that, like, anything is possible. I personally don't believe that, if that makes sense. Or, like, I'm not gonna put my efforts towards figuring that out, or I'm not gonna put too much mental thought on it. You know what I mean? I don't believe that's what it is. I mean,
I believe that there's people at the top. I think we are run by a complete system.
well, here's my problem with this. I'd say the reason, like, and I feel like this, like, makes a lot of sense to me. The reason you'd say, like, this world, you know, like, people were saying this, like, this world's going to shit, you know, in a sense that there's, like, a lot of different, like, chaos and disruption. I wouldn't say that's because there's a bunch of people at top, per se. It's just because of the lack of management. That makes sense. If we had a more perfect system, I feel like it'd be more unified and a lot more controlled. But with how little is controlled, you know, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's not a case of being overly controlled by a bunch of people at the top. It's a case of, like, a bunch of people in conflict and not having enough control, or in, like, people who, I say that there are people who are definitely in control of a lot of things, you know, large, like, CEOs of companies and politicians and shit like that. Yes, they definitely do have control. But I don't think it's the idea of a bunch of people puppeteering. It's a whole system of bunch of different corrupt and shitty people doing a bunch of shitty things that cause a lot of shitty things to happen. You know, it's a big domino effect of things that happen, all caused by a lack of great management from all sorts of level of government and people. You know?
That was a lot to take in. So,
You know, there's
do
all
you
shit
like? You have an idea of a system, yes?
Yeah. I feel like that's what it is. It's just a lack of. It's a mismanagement. Not managing the world to be shitty, it's a mismanagement of our world. You know, because, again, I mean, who's running us? It's not like they're better than us. We're all humans here. A bunch of humans running a bunch of humans. You know?
Humans going against humans, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and humans are prone to making mistakes. They're prone to doing shit. So, like, that's what happens. You know, you make a mistake, and then a bunch of people make mistakes, and a bunch of people who don't really care too much for others make, you know, problems happen, and then that shit causes more problems, and it just transpires, you know?
Do you ever think that the world will be peaceful?
No, it's impossible. I mean, we're so different. It can get better, definitely, but no. And I feel like a world of peace wouldn't work, if that makes sense.
A world
I
of
don't know.
peace that wouldn't work. Okay, explain yourself, because
It doesn't work. It's just you lack a difference in a uniqueness in a human experience with peace. You lack essential development, if that makes sense. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird, the idea of peace, because it's almost impossible because of how different we are as humans. Like, it's, you know, you are not the same as me. We have just different genetic background. We have different parents. I feel like a world would be impossible to have peace. And, like, a world, I'm going to say, I don't know, maybe it would work in the idea of peace, but not in the concept that we think it would, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like we're gonna all be running or fucking jumping in a field with peace. A world of peace, everybody under the same idea, same ideology, and all this shit, running like almost as like robots, if that makes sense. We all believe the same thing. I mean, I think a world with conflict that is, relatively small, if that makes sense, is better than a world of absolute no conflict, Because, like, it's entertaining and it challenges you as a person and allows you to grow, to have other challenge with their ideas and their beliefs. Of course, it does suck that, like, war happens, and I don't think that's the best system. I think the best system would be, like, people arguing and shit like that, you know what I mean?
Instead of, like, going to war and, packing all this shit, I mean, I think there could be some world peace, but it's not going to happen when we're alive.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to happen within the next 1,000, 2,000 years.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, like, this is a thing that a lot of people don't get, though. The world is getting a lot better than people think. Like, it's not going to shit in the way that we think it is. It's getting better. I mean, there's a lot less poverty, a lot less, I'm pretty sure there's a lot less slavery per population. And, like, we live kind of in a sucky world. Yes, there's a lot of homeless people, a lot of shit. I'm not actually just going to not be ups and downs, but overall it is going up. We are going from peasants living in a bunch of fucking houses, like hundreds of thousands, or like a large percentage of the population dying at winter every year, or starving to death, or getting this disease. We're going from that to, like, still just tragedy, and there's still all this shit that's going on, but it's a lot less. And you can.
Yeah, it's sort of like decreasing. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it's getting better. And here's the reason that we don't think it is. It's because we see this in the media. You know what I mean? I'm not.
Yeah, dude, they push it.
It's obvious. I'm not gonna act like they're trying to control us or anything. It's not that. It's quite simply just as it is. Hello? Nothing. Just talking about friend. Yeah.
Just talking about friend.
Basically, like news sites, they're not trying to control the world, not doing anything like that. It's simply, oh, look at this story. It's interesting, and it gets people riled up. It makes them think about it. And a lot of times it's a shitty case. It gets you pissed off. It gets you angry. What? No. Yeah, like it's a shitty thing, and it makes you interested in it. You want to learn more about it, more curiosity, shit like that. So, I mean, we see a lot more bad than we see good, because a lot of times, like people don't want to hear people doing good, or more so, I want to say not people doing good, but it's a lot of people are just kind of living. You don't want to see a lot of people living, so you see a lot of people doing evil shit. You see a lot of people doing crime. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So we get this idea everybody's doing crime and all this shit's happening, when really a majority of people aren't doing that. I mean, a majority of people are just getting jobs and living lives, It's just that we don't see it. Now, I'm not going to say that conflict is not there. I mean, it is crazy if you look at the statistics of, like, the world, like, homicide rate, for example. It may not seem like much, but if you really think about it, holy shit, that is a lot of people. Like, especially in America.
Oh, yeah.
There's some crazy percentages. So I do think, like, yeah, there's still shitty people, but it's not like all sunshine and rainbow and, like, occasional. I mean, there's still a large plethora of crime, but it's definitely not as bad as people think. I mean, a good example of this would be, like, LGBTQ and trans people, for example. Here's the thing. Like, people think that I mean, let's put it this way. I mean, you hear all these parents and, like strong conservatives all the time talking about, like, oh, they're teaching all their children about being trans and shit in their school. Do you see that in their school? No.
A little bit, but not too much.
Yeah, you don't see it. And our math teacher teaching us how to take off our dick or anything like that. No, they don't do that, believe it or not.
I feel like God, they will slowly get to that. They will slowly, like, okay, trans is okay, LGBTQ is okay, being gay is okay. Like, it's just gonna be normalized.
It's like, I mean, as a gay person myself, I'm not against, that being normalized. I believe nothing is wrong with living in a world where people who are different can coincide with each other. You know what I mean?
I mean, I have different preferences, but go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. I don't believe we have to be all the same. We don't have to all agree. Even if it's like a major difference in belief, I don't think we have to agree. You know?
I'm like, what are your thoughts on the LGBTQ plus community and what they're doing? Because I feel like you don't associate yourself with that. Because, I mean, you're bisexual and whatnot. Yeah.
I am gay, yes, but I'm not going to act like I'm one of those motherfuckers like, ooh, all these people are so weird. I mean, I have nothing against... I say that I do and I don't. I have my problems with a parade, for example, or, like, drag shows. But it's being driven down further than it actually is. It's not that every single drag show is having all these fuckers. Like, it's not like fucking bring your kid to work, like, all day long. That's one-off cases. That's not every instance, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't blame the community as a whole for doing that. You blame the motherfuckers doing that shit. You know?
So, like, I'm going to say the majority, my opinion. I think the majority of the homosexual community is, like, they're pushing it. They're pushing the idea of homosexuality. Do you think that as well?
I mean, a majority of the gay people I meet don't really push their idea. That's the thing. I mean, the only reason you're seeing it is because it's a ever-developing movement, you know? I mean, it's a very recent movement, you know, because, believe it or not, you know, gays aren't really, they weren't that accepted throughout the world. We really aren't. So you're going to see a lot more of this movement that makes sense.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's Pride Month this month, and it's being shown everywhere, literally.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like it's being shoved down their throats, I'm not going to lie.
But you gotta remember, like, trust me, like, it is, pretty sure it is relatively new. So imagine in the future it's gonna die down. I mean,
Ooh,
you know,
no, I don't think so.
definitely. I mean, the fucking civil rights shit has died down a lot more than it would be. I mean, you know, that's the fucking talk of America. You know, back then, fucking Cold War, being communist was talking America. That was just like some random motherfucker. Like, it's not like everybody's thinking everybody's that one fucking kid in class who's like gonna shoot at the school. You know, that's it.
Okay. I mean...
You know, yes, it will die down. I do believe it will die down. Definitely. And we will be accepted as people. And we are being accepted a lot more than people think. I mean, there are still a lot of people out there who, you know, don't accept us. And that's one thing I do have a problem with. Like, people saying, like, oh, what law are against you? It's not necessarily fighting against laws. It's fighting against people who don't believe in the idea of being gay, if that makes sense. And it fights against, I don't know, maybe, like, there's not necessarily laws that completely target gay people per se, if that makes sense, you know. And there's not laws that necessarily target women per se, unless, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong. I'm not 100% certain. There's probably situational, like, laws within towns and shit like that, but it's more so an idea of pushing this message out there, that makes sense. A civil message, a message for the civil, not the, like, the justice system, but, like, for the civil world to open their eyes, basically. Like, get people to go on their agenda and get on their track and believe in this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean...
That's like, I kind of do and I don't agree. Like, so, like, here's the thing. I don't like when people, like, are talking about, like, America. Like, yeah, we're so great, though. Like, look, compared to all these countries. Yeah, we are amazing, but that doesn't mean we don't need to strive for being better. Always strive for a place to be better. It's always
Yes?
strive for. You know what I
How long
mean?
is this gonna go for?
I mean, it's already been going for an hour. But,
Like,
no, like, because I see you kind of, like, walk away from this community of, like, yes, it's okay to be gay. It's like, they're roaming the streets and shit. And and I feel like you're looking at that as, like, that's my community. I don't want to be associated with that anymore.
it's, how do I say it? Like, I don't mind. I wouldn't participate in it, personally. Especially the state it is in the sense that I've seen videos of people doing some pretty crazy things at the Pride parades, you know, because it is about sexuality after all. And I am a minor too, so it's kind of strange for me to go there. But again, it's just, I don't hate it as much as people say, and I don't think it's as demonizing as people say. Like, I've heard some pretty crazy theories. Like, there's just one thing that, I don't know, it just kind of sat with me the wrong way. So, there's a person and they're non-binary, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, they're like, hey, I'm non-binary, I use they, them pronouns. You know, it's whatever, it's a whole different thing. You can choose it. I mean, you know, it's whatever. And then, like, there's this Christian that, like, came on, and he's like, you should have using they, them. They has in them and the devil, because they're talking about them having a devil in them. And, like, he's genuinely believed that non-binary people believe that they have the devil in them. You want to know why they use they? It's quite simple. It can be used as a singular, non-gendered pronoun. Simple reason. They don't believe they are male or female, so they use a non-gendered pronoun. There's nothing about multiple people. Yes, they can be used for multiple, but they can't use singular. Even if it, okay, I will say this, like, I'm pretty sure it's not necessarily formal English. It's usually you say he or she, but people still use it as a singular pronoun. That's the only reason why. So, it's just this whole idea of antagonizing and all this shit, and it's stupid. We draw all these stupid conclusions and whatnot, and it's like, haha, I gotcha on this one. Well, no, you didn't fucking get us. It's a dumb thing. I mean, it's dumb arguments to be used against people. You know, you're not gonna win a motherfucker over because of, like, you show them a picture or something, like, it's just stupid. Like, all these damn debates and shit like that, like
they're fun to watch, but yet at the end of the day, it's like we're all different. We think differently, and we should just shut up.
Like what they do is they catch somebody at a whim on something that doesn't have to do with the fundamentals of the topic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you don't win the fucking battle because you drew up the topic to a different thing and then you were like, gotcha there, you know, you don't know the fucking name of this place. Like, I saw this one thing, and it was somebody talking about, like, you know, it's like this parade, which I don't know these people personally, you know, I don't know exactly where I hope they're striving for simply saving the people within Gaza who are, you know, good people, the Palestinians, you know, people who don't, I hope that's what they're striving for. You know, for all I know, they could be for Israel's death. I don't fucking know. Anyways, what I'm saying is, basically, there's these girls, and like, hey, free Palestine, you know, hey, let's not kill these people. And then somebody comes and they're like, hey, do you know what it means from the river, or from the river, I can't remember what it was. Like, I don't know. They were talking about, like, that, like, you know, from the sea, or river to the sea. I can't remember what it was, like, you know, take out that land. So they might have been striving for taking it all over. But, like, basically, it's like, no, I don't know that. And, like, I gotcha. Because you don't know these two landmarks. I mean, I feel like, personally, not knowing the landmarks of a movement doesn't mean, like, I don't feel like that's what they're going for. Like, they're specifically wanting this exact thing of, hey, I want you to take this land. I think it's more so they were there supporting it that, hey, I don't want these fuckers to die. You know? That doesn't make it good all of a sudden for people to die. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really a gotcha moment. That's more so, hey, they don't know too much about what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
But they're just going for what, you know, they go for what the media says. Oh, if they say Palestine, then they'll go for Palestine. If they go for Israel, then they'll go for Israel. Like,
yeah, I mean, the real understanding of what's going on.
Because okay, what is your preference, Palestine or Israel?
Personally, I don't like either. I think both have done evil shit. And, like, here's a good example, okay? I'm going to tell you this. Israel used to not like gay people, you know?
I mean, because that's one of their laws in Judaism is...
Here's what they're doing,
homosexuality,
right?
Yeah.
Here's what they're doing. They're making it they're advertising Israel as a gay getaway to convince people to allow the murder and killings of the, you know, like the Gaza and whatnot. Like, think about that.
That's pretty messed up.
Yeah, a government feels the need, which if you truly believe that you're in 100% right, why would you feel the need to convince more people? Anyways, the government feels, I didn't say that, I guess that makes sense, but like, anyways, the government feels the need that they need to change their whole country, like their whole country's ideology and how it works as a system to convince more people that it's okay to kill people. Because here's the idea. They're trying to say, hey, you believe that these people, like, you can allow all this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't believe in, I don't believe that they should be stoning gays to death. I don't think that should be outlawed there. I don't think these evil things on like women's rights should be outlawed. But you know what that doesn't mean? That doesn't mean kill everybody there. I mean, let's put a good example. Talk about Nazi Germany. Do you think every single citizen, every single person deserved to die there?
No.
They're not, believe it or not, it's not every single person is one fucking hive mind in a country. It's millions of people. You tell me that you know what I mean? And even in the idea that, like, yes, it does suck. Overall, less people are dying in, gays being prosecuted and shit like that. There's less gays dying. There's less people dying in general. And here's the thing, too. If you think about it, who the fuck is it saving? If you're going to kill everybody there, you're not saving the gays anyways. They're dead. Either way, they're dead. But,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't like both sides. Personally, I would love for Palestine to get more, westernized, similar to how we are, because it simply just aligns with my views. I believe we need to have a more, individual base, in the sense that, like, I believe we should allow to have differences in these places. But with that being said, I don't want that to happen via a fucking war where you legit just wipe out an entire culture.
Do you think that, like, Hamas and, the Palestine territory is, like, too strict?
What?
Do you think the Palestine and the Palestinians are, like, they're too strict what the religion says, and, they strictly follow it?
I definitely believe that it's too strict, but it's not a strictness worthy of death. I don't think anybody deserves death unless they are directly related or causing death, if that makes sense. I don't think they deserve death like that. Yes, it is definitely a strict country, and I do wish that countries could change, and that makes sense, but I don't think war is the option. It's never worked. Look at what America did with, all the Middle Eastern countries. We fucked them over completely,
Yeah, and with Afghanistan, too.
I mean, killing a bunch of people senselessly doesn't solve anything.
It's just death.
Yeah. I mean,
like
you're not going to get rid of the problem. And it's a very scary world to live in. A world where if you don't believe in the exact things, this global superpower would just come and murder you. I mean, here's the thing that, like, a lot of people don't understand. Like, whenever they were in America, right? Or, sorry, not in America. When they were in Iraq, they were talking about, like, all these terrorists and whatnot that were coming up and, killing, like, American soldiers by bombing their vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. You know what they don't tell you about? What the fucking Americans did. They were going into the house regularly, like, taking people out. They definitely killed people who were not terrorists. And, of course, there's a reason why. At the fault of it, it's definitely terrorists as the main fault of the fucking actions, because they cause this whole conflict. They're the evil people. But what we learned is that urban warfare is not a fucking good warfare. A lot of unnecessary people get displaced. A lot of death happens that's unnecessary. A lot of destruction happens that's unnecessary. It's just a whole gruesome thing. And that's what's happening in Gaza. I want to say it's necessary because there are definitely Israelis out there who enjoy killing Palestinians. Just how there's Palestinians that enjoy killing Israel. You know what I mean? Israelis.
It's just enjoying killing.
Yeah, I mean, you see that shit all the time. It's definitely a conflict where both sides are shit. It's just, like, it's not going to end well because it's fucking urban warfare,
It's
Sorry,
just...
my friend. It's urban warfare.
I feel like it's
What?
just... Oh.
I ain't got no attitude. I'm good. Huh?
I feel like it's world domination at this point. Because, I mean, look at Putin. Like, he's taking over. He's trying to take over Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
And, no, I feel like that's the objective for every world leader. Or every country leader. Is like, okay, I want to take over your land. I'm going to kill your people. And whoever's left, I'm going to take. And they're going to follow these many rules. They're going to believe in this. They're going to do this. They're going to eat this food that I give them. And they're going to like it. They're going to whether like it or not.
Yeah. And it's just a sucky situation. They justify it by, oh, look at how bad these people are. They're not that bad. It's all essence of. I mean, that's how we get people to fight in a war. I mean, you notice how like America is very patriotic about itself. It's very prideful of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Also, notice how a lot of war hungry it is. It goes into correlation. There's a lot of people who are willing to fight for America because we have a large pride in America. That's what happens. Our government develops this instilled pride. I'm not saying it like that. It's definitely deserved. Hold up. Inside? Inside? Okay, hold up. Give me a second.
Did his phone just die? I feel like his phone just died. Levi? Oh, his phone died. I feel like his phone died. I feel like he's on mute. I'm gonna wait a couple minutes. There we
Yeah,
are.
I'm gonna have to go. I have to go.
All right. Well, this was a good episode of yapping.
Yeah. Yep.
That is it.
All right. We'll see you.
See you when I see you, dude.